What's happening, people? Welcome to the United Stand. I'm here with Mark and Xander. And the breaking news that is kind of come out this afternoon, is it news? Is it news? Are we surprised? But the news reported from Sky, which I think all of you wouldn't be surprised to hear, is the fact that Manchester United are backing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer in light of that awful result last night. Are you surprised with that news? Should they be backing him? Is this a time to unite? Give him time, give him patience. We're at rock bottom at the minute. Should that be happening?
I tweeted it last night. I think if you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem. And Solskjaer's part of the problem now. They're all uniting together, and there is a massive problem at United. I said last night that Solskjaer, if he's a really real United fan, and I retract that. I hate real United fan. But if I was Solskjaer, I would resign and I would expose the truth. We know the truth. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, he's changed from the money was there in the summer if the right player was, to the right player was there, it was the right price, right player. So suddenly the money wasn't there then, wasn't it? Because you didn't have enough money to get the player that you wanted. And everything's changing. The club is a mess. And to be honest with you, if Woodward's backing Ole, I think that tarnishes Ole. Because we all know Woodward and Glazers are absolutely inept. So Sky Sports coming out saying, we're backing the manager. Who are you to tell us you're backing the bloody manager? You're the bloody problem. We'll decide whether the manager's good enough, and I think that's a conversation for the fans to have. But Woodward and the Glazers telling us we're backing the manager, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't wipe my arse on that statement. I really wouldn't. You have destroyed this bloody football club, and I'm meant to care about what you think about who the manager's going to be. We're on number 4. You're not spending any bloody money. I feel sorry for Ole. The last night he looked a broken man.
That was the first time I'm sort of thinking he does look broken.
He looked broken last night, but it will break you because it does care. The smiling and the laughing has stopped because he realised, I think last night, he realised what a lot of us have known for a long time. He's absolutely screwed in that job. He ain't good enough, but it wouldn't matter if he was. Even if Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the next Klopp, he was always coming in and inexperienced. He always needed 200 million in the first summer. He always needed a lot of help. He ain't a very good manager. I don't think he is. But even if he was, he's still inexperienced. He still needed nurturing and supporting. And they've hung him out to dry, like they did Mourinho, like they did Van Gaal. It's on them. So them coming out with, who are they? I mean, why is Sky even bloody talking to him? Like, who the bloody hell are they? Why are we listening to what they want to do? They're the problem.
I mean, he's making some good points in terms of, okay, fair enough, Mark sees it as, even if Solskjaer was a good manager, was good enough in his opinion, that would still be in shit streak. I mean, I know you obviously are not Ole out, and you hold the view of actually it's such a mess that whoever comes in has got this to deal with.
Yeah, what Mark ended with then was they're the problem. Yeah. I think the problem is far bigger than Ole. So for me to say Ole out and all this sort of stuff, really not much is going to change, I feel, if we get someone else in. You bring, as good a manager as Pochettino is, bring him in. Really, what's going to happen? We've had Louis van Gaal, fantastic manager. It didn't work out. Jose, you think there will be change?
Look, Pochettino won't make us win the league, but Pochettino probably would get that. He'll make us beat a lot.
I'm not going
to say fourth. He'll make us beat Burnley. Yeah. Like, we should beat Burnley with that team. That's not the Glazers and Woodward's fault. It is because they should be better players there. But those players and the coaching staff last night have got to take a long, hard look at themselves, because that in isolation was abysmal. And this, there's many aspects to this. What did we say after Cardiff? He needs to sell the whole squad. Here we are, nearly at the end of another season, and it's the same set of shit players. Like, I say what I said at the end of last season. I don't trust those players. They're as big as any problem, and they've let us down.
When
again.
the confidence goes with this squad, we've seen it. They can go on a really bad run. But what are you seeing, or what are you clinging on to that you think actually it probably would be? I don't want to say the word better, but it would be the same. Just keeping Solskjaer, and we may as well trust that.
What I don't understand is, God was just saying, after Cardiff, we've got to sell all these players, and the players aren't good enough, and they're throwing them, Jose Mourinho, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer under the bus. But then, I've not necessarily heard you say that, but then people are throwing Ole under the bus for saying, we shouldn't have got rid of that many players. So it's which ones you want. I know we've got to reinforce, so you've got to do a bit of both. You've got to get rid and bring in. But he's getting rid, but the board aren't getting him in. So really, he's got 2 hands tied behind his back, and so I can't criticise a man that's trying to do a job with two hands tied behind his back. You know what I mean?
Well, I think the myths,
a good point.
the myths compound themselves. And look, I'm a pragmatic Ollie outer now. I never wanted to be Ollie out. I don't even feel like I still am. I don't even know if I am. I said it last night because I was very angry, but actually, I am. I'm a pragmatic. A lot of people are very aggressive Ollie out. They're adamant Ollie out. I'm actually sort of like, I still believe what I always said, that he shouldn't go before the board and Woodward and the Glazers. He shouldn't do. But what I also have to say is, he has shown himself to be incompetent, and and any other manager, Mourinho would have been gone by now. Van Gaal, Moyes would have been gone by now. He's lost more games as permanent manager than he's won. That's Manchester United, not Burnley. He's lost more Premier League games than he's won. I think he's lost 12 and he's won 11 in a year. I mean, well, since last March, which is nearly a year. So, you know, screw his bloody interim bit. I mean, anybody who uses his interim bit is an idiot, because that was 3 months of non-stop winning, and it was fantastic, but it was a different formation. And basically what he said to everybody is, go and prove everyone wrong.
Yeah.
Just go and play. And after 3 months, they were like,
runs out, doesn't it?
well, what's next?
Yeah.
What's next? Oh, I've got my tactics now. Oh, yeah, they're shit. Now we're rubbish. So I think with in relation to this, there's a lot of myths around Ollie. Like, the zonal marking ain't good enough. The tactics aren't good enough. Whole second half against Burnley, you create nothing. That's not good enough. But also, the transfers, everyone keeps saying, give him more money because he's done really well in the transfer window. Harry Maguire has been hit and miss, and I like him. Dan James has been run into the ground, and he's a championship winger who even himself in an interview a month ago said, I'm surprised how much I've played, which was him saying, I've played too much, because we all know he's played too much, because Ollie's overplayed him. He's overplayed Wan-Bissaka, he's overplayed Maguire, he's overplayed Rashford, we've now lost him. I think Wan-Bissaka's been brilliant, and he probably should be our player of the year, but even he is starting to look jaded.
That infectious kind of thing that comes into players, isn't
I
it?
don't know how much that is to blame for Ollie, because, you know, you look at the likes of Marcus Rashford. Without Rashford, as we've seen last night in the last game against Liverpool, we're screwed.
Does he deserve praise for that, getting a player out of Rashford?
We're not giving him the praise there. As you say, Rashford, he's doing fantastic this season. So if you're going to criticise Ollie for not getting the most out of players, you've got to give him praise for getting the good out of players as well.
Yeah, but Rashford's not been coached by Ollie. That's so obvious to me that is just a flair player. Rashford sort of models himself on Ronaldo. You can see when, like, Rashford's still infuriating sometimes with his shots, with his final ball, his decision making. I don't think Rashford's been coached to be a better player by Ollie. I think he's a better player under Ollie than he was under Mourinho, because Mourinho was so restrictive. What Ollie's basically said is, what I think Ollie's tactics are, and this sounds really bad, go out and enjoy yourself. And I think Rashford is a player that goes out and enjoys himself, and you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know whether he's going to score a 40-yard free kick or he's going to put it in the stadium.
He does have ability, so he is going to put it out the bag.
He's an edge flair player like Ronaldo. You can't coach Ronaldo. You can't coach Messi, and I'm not saying Rashford's that sort of player, but he is a flair player who plays without coaching. I think he just goes out there and plays football, and you know, it's great, and we miss him. But we always say this about United. We aren't coached. We rely on defensive errors from the opposition or individual brilliance, and that has been borne out all season. And the lack of coaching isn't good enough. But I suppose we're all going off onto tangents, because for me, there's so much wrong with that club. There's no one answer. Changing Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I do agree with Xander, and I've always said this. Getting Pochettino in will only take you so far, and that ceiling could be third. You know, maybe he'll get his Champions League every football. We're Manchester United. We want to win titles. How do we do that? Well, it's a bigger problem. That is board, CEO, recruitment, medical staff, the whole shebang, and that only happens with what is basically a reset button, and that reset button is the top.
To finish off, there's what, 7-8 days left of this transfer window. You're looking at, like, Ole having two hands behind his back and being hung out to dry. I mean, you've said a lot of times he's been hung out to dry. Are they going to get these players in? Can you see it happening? And if it does not happen, getting anyone in this January transfer window, how bleak is it looking for us?
Mate, it's an absolute shambles. The fact that we are where we are, the fact that our whole squad has been decimated, and that we still haven't signed anyone, that's absolutely ridiculous. But can I see them not signing anyone in January? Absolutely. It's the United board we're talking about here. They've proven year after year that they're absolutely inadequate and incompetent, right? So do I see them signing anyone? Potentially. Bruno Fernandes is obviously a name that's been going on about. How good would he have been last night? Creates, scores, he's a leader, he's passionate, he'll drive with the ball. Do you know what I mean? Let's sign Jude Bellingham for 50 million. That'll do as well. Do you know, like, it's ridiculous, but I can't give you any guarantees, Flex, because this board hasn't been able to give us that guarantee.
And it's fourth gone if we don't. sign anyone?
I don't think so. As mad as that sounds, I don't think fourth is gone if we don't sign anyone, because everyone else is so shit, right? Look at Chelsea. We're still in with a chance, and that's ridiculous because we're so bad. So no, I don't think fourth is gone, but I certainly wouldn't back us to get it.
Okay, you think it's gone?
I think it is gone now. I think it is gone because it's 6 points. But I think as a PR exercise, United will sign players now. Bruno Fernandes will probably still come in. But that angers me as well, because it's paper in the cracks. I mean, if you give a bad coach a better player, the team improves a little bit, but it still doesn't. You know, if Ollie was given Messi today, United would be a better team. Is Ollie a better coach? So we've got to have our eyes open to papering of the cracks. I think, well, yeah, if we get Bruno, I'll be very excited. He's one of my favourite players. But
how would he be managed? How would he be used?
And we will improve. But is that because Ollie's better, or it's like without Rashford we're a shit team? With Rashford we're a good team. Is that coaching? Clearly it's not. That's the player. So I think that we will sign players. What angers me the most is that it's taken this to sign players when it should have been a proper football club that's not a business would have had players in on January the 1st and gone, we've got an opportunity for top 4, which we've all been talking about. But no, we wait to hit rock bottom, and now we're like, shit, the fans are singing about us. Quick, go and spend that money. You know, we were going to use that for a holiday. Let's use it for the football club.
Oh shit! Rashford's injured now. Actually, now let's look for a striker,
and
not even a winger, because Rashford's been playing on the wing.
And the only signing we've actually made in January so far is this rumoured thing with Neil Ashton to help out with the PR side of things. I mean, that's how cynical this football club is. They're employing somebody to come in to put spin out through their normal little journalists who they give the information to. And we all know who they are. Last night, Simon Peach, Simon Stone, Manchester Evening News, all talking the same thing because that's come from the club. Now we've got a PR guy who's going to be putting more stuff out because it's all about, it's fake. It's all fake news. It's not fake news. It'll be true, but it'll be pump that out to all the journalists, because that will go out on that website, and that will feed the sheep. But many of those sheep are tired of that food.
Well, there you have it, guys. Drop your views in the comments in the boxes below. We don't like doing Ollie out, Ollie in and all this, but it is the topic of conversation, especially as the club. We know that's what we're going to do on this channel. We're going to react to news that is there and is out there, and we're not afraid to talk about it. And that is, like I said, what the latest news was today. The club publicly backing Solskjaer. Let us know your views on that.
I don't think it is Ollie out, though, is it? I mean, I'm pragmatic, like looking at it, Ollie out. You're not, and you're not. I think what we know is the club's a bloody mess, and I think we all agree that he is probably not good enough. Well, he's not good enough.
That's the camp I'm in. I'm not blindly saying, no, give him time, he's the right guy. I'm just saying I don't think anything will change. Exactly, the problems are bigger.
That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm not saying that he's void of all criticism and that there's...
He has shown he's not good enough so
Last
far.
night, Brandon Williams, I thought, was one of the only players that was getting forward. He brings on Luke Shaw.
And that's not Ed Woodward's fault.
No, that's not Ed Woodward's fault. But if he did have, look at City's bench, look at Liverpool's bench. If he did have some better players on the bench, Gabriel Jesus or all these other players, right? Do you think he'd bring on Luke Shaw instead of Brandon Williams? I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think so, right? So, as we were saying, the problem's bigger than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And as I said, he's not void of criticism, but the problem's bigger than him.
But just on that, he puts Angel Gomez on the bench. And he brings Jesse Lingard on for the millionth time, who's been crap a million times. And Angel Gomez, who was ready in the summer, and we know Chong's going, so right, he's not on the bench, but Gomez is on the bench and doesn't get used again. He's never had a proper chance.
Pereira keeps starting and has to keep getting taken off every time because he's just filling the void.
These are manager decisions, and that you've got to open your eyes. Yeah, the problems are upstairs, but the problems are with Ollie as well.
Absolutely.
And you've got to open that.
The way we're setting up from playing out from the back as well. De Gea just looks clueless every time he gets it. He's like, what do I do? Nobody knows what's going on, the pattern of play, the lack of chances. What reaction are you going to get from 1-0 down at half-time to Burnley? 0. All those things are managerial. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap it up there. Drop your views in the comments in the boxes below. Make sure you smash a like on the video as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Peace. Big thank you to you guys for watching the latest of our videos. And if you want to check out more, make sure you do that just to the right of me. We are the biggest and best Manchester United channel in the world. Make sure you check us out on all of the socials as well. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube. The socials are along the bottom. Peace.